All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Monday Motivation. You know that this is my favorite time of the week. So, hey, glad you're here and glad you're getting a lot out of these Monday Motivations. I know that because you're telling me so. So, I hope all of you who are listening to these keep the feedback coming. Let me know how you're enjoying them. And let me know how they're affecting your journey, because I know they are. You know, a lot of my clients are telling me that they're binge watching, or rather binge listening to these Monday Motivation messages, because I design them to help you move forward. I design them to help you create the mindset shifts that you need to be successful, because the truth is, strategy alone just isn't enough. It's not enough to eat the right foods in the right amounts at the right time. It's not enough to have the best nutrition plan. It's not enough to have the best workout plan. It's just not enough. It's not going to take you there. What's going to take you there to the end of your journey is creating the shifts necessary, the mindset shifts necessary. Why? Because life's going to get in the way. And that's just the point. You need more than just strategy. I've often said you need three things to create breakthrough. You need the right strategy, eating the right foods in the right amounts at the right time. That's a great strategy. That's a long-term strategy you can maintain the rest of your life, right? But you need more. You need a powerful story. That's your why. What helps you move forward when you don't feel like it? You're going to need that. That's what you're going to have to lean on. You also need to learn how to navigate those emotional roadblocks when they show up. They show up all the time. And that's one of the primary reasons why most people give up on themselves. They don't know how to deal with the difficult emotions. And those emotional roadblocks are just like any other roadblocks, just like plateaus or any other obstacle that gets in your way. It's just a wall. And when you face a wall, what do? You build a ladder, and you build a ladder with one habit at a time. Every habit that you develop is a step on that ladder that will allow you to get over that wall. So when you hit that plateau, well, you got to build a wall. You got to build a ladder, because that plateau is the wall. So you build a ladder by committing to doing something better. How can you do what you're doing better? It's not always necessarily about doing something else, but you got to step up your game, because remember, your body is caught up with you, and you might be doing all the right things, but they will fail to get you where you're going, because what got you here won't get you there, right? It's simply a case of you've outgrown your habits. Now it's time to step it up. Your habits have taken you here. But what got you to the first million isn't going to get you to the next million, right? You got to up your game. That's another way of looking at it. So you always have to up level your game in order to move from one place to the next. And you should be happy when you hit those plateaus, because it means that you've been doing some great work, and now, boom, it's time to up level. And that is the new challenge. So I want you to say, challenge accepted, right? When you get to those plateaus, challenge accepted. And likewise, right? Today we're talking about, I want to revisit this idea of motivation. You know, we talked about the motivation myth before, and the truth is, it's a myth. Because here's the deal, guys. When motivation fades, your why must take over. Your why is what takes you where motivation cannot. Because motivation doesn't last, right? It's not meant to last. Motivation will get you started. It's what gets you started. But it will never be enough to keep you going, because I often say motivation is like taking a bath or a shower. You got to do it again, or you're going to stink, right? You're going to start getting into stinking thinking, which is going to lead to an emotional spiral towards self-sabotage. So motivation was never meant to last. Motivation was meant to get you started. And I hear a lot of you. I have conversations with clients, and the topic this week, many clients, is, I'm kind of stuck. I'm in this place and I don't know how to get out of it. I'm just not motivated right now. Well, embrace it. It's a natural place to be. Because let's be real, right? Motivation is fun when it shows up. It feels like momentum. It makes everything seem possible. But here's the deal. Motivation is like a spark. It burns hot and then it fades fast. And the truth is, guys, some days you won't feel like doing the things that create change. That's just the way it goes. You won't feel like prepping those meals. You won't feel like planning. You won't feel like getting up early to move your body. You won't feel like journaling or tracking or showing up with consistency. That's just a part of the process. That's the beauty of this. You can be successful without always being on all the time. You don't have to be on all the time. You just need to learn to embrace what shows up. Every day is going to be different. Some days you're just not going to feel like moving. Some days you're going to say, the hell with this. That's all part of the journey. Just learn to embrace it, right? But let's learn the difference between motivation and your why. Let's break it down a little bit. You see, motivation is emotional. It's triggered by hype, the photos, the events, panic, pain. It's tied to your mood, and the problem is, moods change. Your why, on the other hand, your why is your anchor. It needs to be your anchor. It's deeply personal. It's emotional, yes, but not reactive. It's connected to your vision and your values. And most importantly, it doesn't fade when life gets messy. Right? We talked about the messy middle before and how to move forward while you're in the messy middle. Life is going to get messy. Life's going to throw obstacles in your way. You got to learn to navigate those obstacles. And the way you navigate those obstacles is by leaning on your why, because motivation alone won't carry you, right? Motivation disappears the moment results slow down. Motivation doesn't survive bad days, family stress, exhaustion. Motivation relies on feeling ready. Your why says, I'm doing this anyway. You see the difference? So if you've ever said, I was doing so well, but I lost my motivation, this is your answer. You don't need more motivation. You need a deeper why. You don't need more motivation, folks. You need a deeper why. Right? See, here's the power of a deep why. Your why, I like to say, is what helps you, WHY, what helps you move forward when you don't feel like it, right? See, that's the power of your why. So when you don't feel like moving forward, you need a deeper why. What helps you move forward when you don't feel like it? That's what your why is supposed to do. Your why gives you resilience. It grounds you in something bigger than just the scale. It turns weight loss into a mission, not a goal. Losing 50 pounds, that's a goal. Changing your life, that's a mission. Living your best life, becoming your best self, creating your future self, that's a mission. And that starts with a future vision. That starts with a vision. And why do you need to accomplish that vision? You see how deep we're going now? You got to get away from just the goal. A goal is a short-term thing, just to give you direction, give you some place to strive for. But it doesn't mean that, hey, you set a goal and I always try to steer my clients away from time-based goal. I want to lose 30 pounds by September, I hear I hear a lot of you put time base on goals. Okay, well, fine. That's realistic. Now let's get to work. Now let's use that as a guide and let's let go of it, because whether you lose 30 pounds in 5-6 months, that's not for you to determine. That's for your body to determine, right? You can't tell your body how much weight to lose by when. The minute you do that is the minute you fail. The minute you start telling your body how much weight to lose in a specific time frame, that's when you fail, because now you're going down the path of temporary results. Temporary. Why? Because your body will change on its own time frame, not on yours. The only thing that you get to do, your job is to create the conditions necessary for your body to change. It will change when those conditions are met, not before. And when you try to force it to change before those conditions are met, well, guess what? Those results are temporary, because your habits are lagging behind your results. And the minute your habits lag behind your results are temporary. You're 99.9% liable to regain that weight. When your habits precede your results, when your results are trailing all the great things you're doing, your results are catching up to all the great things you're doing, that is when you're creating transformation, right? It's like the bamboo. Nobody pays attention to the bamboo until it's tall enough to provide shade. But guess what? For most of that bamboo's life, there's nothing happening. It's not even noticeable. Remember, a bamboo plant can spend 5 years developing the rooting necessary to allow it to grow. And it's not going to grow to its maximum potential until those conditions are met, till that rooting system is in place. So 5 years, it can stay looking like it's only 2-3 feet. And when the conditions are met within 90 days, it can shoot 90 feet up in the air. You see, 5 years versus 90 days. You see the difference? Those conditions have to be met. So when motivation fades, as it will, you need to lean on your why, because your why gives you resilience. It grounds you in something bigger than just the scale. It turns weight loss into your mission, not your goal. Your why gives you meaning on the hard days. It gives purpose to your process. It makes the sacrifice worth it. Why are you pushing this giant ball up this steep hill? Right? When you're sitting down there in the valley of despair, your why is going to take you through. Your why is going to keep you moving step by step up that steep mountain so that you can climb back to that peak experience where you're getting results when things are going well. That is what your why does. Motivation doesn't do that. You're not always going to stay motivated. So let me ask you this right now. Why are you really doing this? I want you to think about that. That's a topic of this week for you. Why are you really doing this? So this week, I want you to revisit your why. Every day this week, I want you to revisit your why. And I want you to ask yourself why. Because to lose weight is not enough, right? You've got to go deeper, right? You want to go, well, so you can play with your kids without pain? Well, that's a little deeper. So you can finally feel proud when you look in the mirror? Okay, well, that's a little deeper. So you can stop hiding your life and start showing up? Well, that's way deeper. So you can live long enough to walk your daughter down the aisle? Well, boom, now we're getting somewhere. You see, that's a mission. So you can have the quality of life to be around. That's kind of why that pulls you forward when nothing else will. You need a why that pulls you forward. You need a why that makes you want to get up out of bed in the morning. Write it out, paste it over your bed. Read it, put it on your mirror and in the bathroom when you brush your teeth. Read it. Connect to it. That is deeper than motivation. That's where you're going. That's your mission. That's your vision. That is what's going to take you where you're going. You guys are still focused on weight loss. And every time I talk to you, I say, well, forget about weight loss. And I know it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard shift to make. It's a very hard shift to make. But you got to focus on something bigger. What is that vision? Where are you going? It's got to be bigger and deeper. Otherwise, you're going to give up on yourself on the hard days, because there are going to be lots of hard days. So here's what you do when motivation fades. The next time you feel like giving up because the scale isn't moving and life is getting in the way, you don't feel like this is working, here's what you do. I want you to pull out that why. I want you to read that why. You should have it pasted in a lot of different areas around your house, because that's what's going to help you get forward. Keep it, write it out, page in your car. Have some cards, make up some cards, keep them with you so you can remind yourself. Read that out loud with passion. Close your eyes and picture the life you're building. Third, ask yourself, what would my future self do right now? That's where I want you to always go. We talk about the power of your alter ego and living from the point of view of your alter ego. What would my future self do right now? And the last thing I want you to do this week, I want you to take one small action that aligns with your why. What's that going to be? One small action that aligns with your why. You got to do that to move forward, right? Never leave the scene of any great commitment without taking action. So what is that one small action that aligns with your why? Because every choice you make is either moving you toward your why or away from it. Every choice you make is either moving you toward your why or away from it. So your challenge this week, guys, is to write your why. If you have a why, I want you to take that why. I want you to go deeper with it. Ask yourself, why is this important to me? So make it 1 or 2 sentences, make it real, make it personal, make it deeply emotional. The more emotional and existential your why is, the more it's going to carry you forward on those hard days, on those messy days. So paste it around, paste it on your mirror, put it as your lock screen on your phone, put it on your fridge. Connect to it every day, read it every day. And when motivation fades, and it will, let your why take over, right? Create a little mantra. Something like, motivation got me started. My why keeps me moving. I'm not chasing a feeling. I'm anchored in my purpose. Motivation got me started. My why keeps me moving. I'm not chasing a feeling. I'm anchored in my process. Motivation got me started. My why keeps me moving. I'm not chasing a feeling. I'm anchored in my purpose. Motivation got me started. My why keeps me moving. I'm not chasing a feeling. I'm anchored in my purpose. You don't need more hype. You need more clarity. You don't need to push harder. You need to dig deeper. Let me say this again. You don't need to push harder. You need to dig deeper. Motivation got me started. My why keeps me moving. I'm not chasing a feeling. I'm anchored in my purpose. Have that be your mantra this week. I hope this is helpful.